Let's have a talk about woulda, shoulda, couldas. Now, if I could go back a week and a day to last Friday, I never would have even considered this project. It seemed like I just had to do some cover. There's flashing underneath this, okay, which you guys probably don't realize, and it didn't seem to be too bad. It seemed to be manageable. So I thought I'll just cover up all the flashing and waterproof the chimney, and it'll take me one day and it's not even a big deal, right? Well, that turned into a world of hurt and pain and suffering and 8 days of hell, right? But I've learned a lot that I can share with you guys. Let's talk products. Leak stopper that's in the front of my thumbnail. It's called leak stopper roof repair. Is horrible on its own. As you could see in my first video, it doesn't dry quick enough and it stays slimy and sloppy, okay? But what I found out, and I'm gonna tell you guys a secret trick for if you're doing your own repairs. And like I said, I'm obviously not a professional. I'm horrible at this. But I am also confident that this roof ain't too bad. And I'll cut the fucking chimney right off the top of the roof and I'll put my own metal roof on. I'm confident at this point that with my ladder and me and just taking my time, I could chop this chimney down and I could cover this whole roof with a brand new metal roof. And if that's where it's gotta go, that's where it's gotta go. So this was just a project that I got into that became just absolutely unreasonable. Anyway, I'm gonna tell you a secret. There's another product called Gorilla. It's in a can. It's not the paste. It's liquid. It's called Waterproof Seal Liquid. It's a, I believe, 16-ounce can. And it's called Waterproof and Seal Liquid, Gorilla. If you, and that dries too hard and doesn't have enough pliability, but it's paintable. If you take the two products and you mix 1/3 Gorilla Waterproof Seal, paint and seal, or whatever it's called, it's on the thumbnail, with the stop leaker, and you use probably 2 to 1 with the stop roof repair leak stopper, you come with a solution that you can just paint on with a brush. And I'll tell you, it would have made my life so much easier knowing that before I started this project, because I could just take and paint. Like today, I just painted it on. So much easier to form when you got just the leak stopper repair, and you don't have just a leak stopper. And you seen on my other video how it was all goopy and shit and you couldn't form it and it wouldn't fucking, and then it wouldn't seal, it wouldn't dry and cure within a couple days. Now you mix it with this other product that's mostly glue, this Gorilla product that's also waterproof, and they mix together like they were meant to be together. And next thing you know, you got a product that you can just brush right on. You brush it right on. See, these are all brush strokes. You form it right on there and it cures and hardens in 24 hours. It cures and hardens 3 times faster together than by themselves. I wish I would have known that. So anyway, I'm ready for paint. And let's talk about other things that I learned. Don't worry about little itty bitty things. You hit this with a knife or you touch that and you're gonna have to go all over it all again to try to pull this into position. Like I said, I'll tear this chimney down. This was just a learning experience. It became crazy. I'll take a hole saw, I'll tie myself down to the roof and I'll drill this chimney out, and I'll take pieces of the rocks and just throw them off until I'm down to nothing here. And I'll put a whole new metal roof on piece by piece if I gotta. So it's not a big deal. Like this is just me messing around. Behind this, there is flashing. I am not using this as flashing. There was already flashing in place and it was only leaking in little spots and it looked pretty good. That's why I thought I could just cover it up with a little layer here, and it just became a mess because once I started covering it up, pieces of the chimney were breaking off, and I thought, oh, I'll just rubberize the chimney, it'll be easy. And so let's recap here. This has been a week of hell because I didn't know what I was doing. If I would have known then what I know now, oh, I could have avoided myself so much trouble. By mixing these two chemicals together, I could have just painted it on. And it comes out, I mean, it comes out such a good chemical that it doesn't leak. You'll never get it off your skin. Make sure you got 100 rags. But anyway, leak stopper roof repair that comes in a gallon, and Gorilla waterproof and seal liquid, not paste, liquid. And you mix maybe 1 to 3 parts. So 1 part Gorilla to 3 parts roof patch repair. I mix it all up with a little plastic spatula I bought there, and you can brush it right on. Brush it right on like a really thick paint. And I'll tell you what, it starts setting up, tacking. It doesn't drip. Man, I wish I would have known that. So that's my secret for you guys. That's what I learned in the last week. If you're going to do a home project, that's how you want it. That's the chemicals you want to mix together. Anyway, if I could go back, would I even attempt this, or would I would have probably tore the chimney out? But I don't know. It's hard to say. It's easy to look back and say, I wish I should have, could have, because I still got to paint this, you guys, obviously. This all needs to be painted. And not only that, but if you've seen in the picture there on my thumbnail, I got the primer I got, a professional grade. I'm going to prime it because that's an even nicer brick color. Oh, as you can see right here, you see that red? That's the specialty paint. I was checking to see what it was going to look like. It's a little bright, but I got a dark primer, a dark deep primer that almost matches the color of the chimney, the original chimney. And I'm going to prime the heck out of it and just do 1 coat of this paint. And I think what's going to happen is that other primer color is going to kind of seep through, change the color a little bit, darken it up a little bit, and make it look rustic and old. And I really think I'll be able to match the chimney color. Anyway, like this, I could touch that, and next thing you know, it would open it up, and I'd have to get the paintbrush and come back up here. So leave well enough alone. There is some truth to leave well enough alone. You know, you got to just leave well enough alone. A lot of these little crevices and stuff, you're going to see how good I am with the primer can, you know. I'll be priming this, and I'll be able to cover up a lot of the stuff. And you can't see any of this from down by the road, which I could show you, but I'm just, anyway, I'll show you over the roof here. I'm up with the trees here. And you got to trust your ladder, man. That's been really tough. You got to trust your ladder, you know. That's been tough. Look, before this, you have to trust it. If you can't trust your ladder, get a different one, because there's no point in being up here. My first couple of days, I was just shaking, and it was just a mess, but... So here you are, guys. I'm ready for paint now. It's not supposed to rain, even though if you can see up at the clouds there. It's not supposed to rain today, but we'll see. But I also came up with even better ideas. You know, once you're working up here, you got nothing to do but think. I could have designed a metal almost skirt that would come all the way around but have an opening right here, a square, so I could so I could have clamped them together and design this all in my basement with rubber seals inside and everything. So I could have just put the skirt around the chimney and probably just made a really nice looking latches and latch it together and had all stainless around here or something. And like I said, if I could go back, if I could go back and not have to do what I just did, and I still got to paint it, so I still got a couple more days up here. But I'll tell you what, it's a learning experience. And as somebody that doesn't want to pay somebody else to do thousands and thousands in repairs, and you want to learn to do anything on your own, you're going to mess up. You're going to have problems. You're going to have learning experiences. You're going to have people call you stupid. You're going to have people say you should have called a professional. You're going to have people say, how do you trust that homemade ladder you're on? You're going to have naysayers, doubters, people that... I've heard it all this week, honestly. Not from you guys, not on YouTube. Nobody even watches my videos, but from like people I know, that seen what I was doing. But you know what? I got a funny feeling this thing ain't gonna leak for 10 years. Because when I started, like at first I could see where people have that roof stopper, leak stop, people have 4.5 stars, and some people are like, it's real thin, it's real hard to work with. And then with the other stuff, it was 4.5 stars, but both of them had their little bitty problems. Like one was a little too hard and it cured too fast and it just didn't seem like it was gonna work by itself. And the other one was too loose. I mixed them together and I'm telling you, it created a chemical that's automatic tacky. When it dries a little bit harder. Where it's gonna be, and I mixed in so it's all paintable. So I really think that, I put together a chemical between those two that's really going to hold up well to weather and everything else. Because between them, it says they should be able to go up to negative 80 degrees and 200 degrees, 250 degrees of heat. And my paint now, I'm going to do another layer, which is going to insulate this from cracking, I'm hoping. So when I prime this with a professional grade, I got a professional grade primer you can see on my picture there. That's made for expansion as well. And then the paint I got is for brick and expansion. And I got a funny feeling when that cures over this, and I'm gonna paint it like right down here, you know? And then I'm gonna cover this, you know, I told you. And I got a funny feeling that I'm not gonna have to worry about this for 10 or 15 years. I really do. I think 10 or 15 years. I think by the next time I replace the roof, if I got the type of money to just say, hey, I got 30 grand, I'll have them remove the chimney, and I'm having a metal roof put on. I've already decided. I thought about it for a long time. There's just no beating a metal roof, you know? There's just no beating it. It's pretty much a lifetime deal, you know? People say it makes noise, but I'm gonna make sure that this roof stays down and it goes right over this, and I'm gonna make sure this doesn't have any real damage to it before I put that on. And I heard that it really minimizes any type of noise. Plus, I love it when it rains and it makes noise on the roof. Who doesn't? You lay in bed and you're going, it's for me anyway, you know? And you get all black and it's beautiful now, you know? And I'll say, you know what? It's time. 10 years from now, if this holds 10 years, it looks good for 10 years, and I got enough money and I get somebody to come take this chimney right off and put down a nice metal roof, that'll be the answer to everything. So if this lasts 10 years, I'll be happy. And I really think it will. So you'll see me. I'm going to do a nice primer and paint. Anyway, it's ready for the paint. You know? And like I said, watch the lower I get. You ain't gonna notice little spots. You know, I keep messing around with this little, that little, this little, that little bit. So you could mess around up here all day long. I've been up here 8 days. You could look at how thick I got it. I got about 20 coats on there. I got 2 coats of fiberglass. It's turned into a goddamn demon, but I learned so much, you guys. I learned how to make my own roofing ladder. They charge over $1,000 for these. I don't care who you are, what you say, I've checked them all out. You want a 20-foot, this is a 20-foot roofing ladder I built, okay? With wheels and everything, and it's light enough that I can use it by myself. And I moved it 4 times today. This ladder here would cost you $1,000 by itself, and there's no question about it. Yep. And look how safe it's been for me. Them things at the top I bought for $40 on Amazon, but they're Chinese, and they just lock over the roof, and they got that rubber bar on the other side. I had to drill them out and screw them right to the wood. I had to shim them because the metal is so cheap that you got to shim where you put the screws through if you think you're going to get the screws tight. And but all in, I think I'm $65 into this ladder. And if you wanted one comparable to this, you're looking at well over $1,000. There's no question in my mind. So say whatever you want. You could go buy a metal ladder for $500 I seen, and you could put it over there, but do it if you want, but the rungs will be in the middle instead of on the outside, so it's so much harder to get. Good luck is all I'm saying. See how at the top there I got the double latches so I could put my feet. I tried doing it on them single latches like that, and your feet are gonna hurt so bad. You need to have extra length on them for where you're putting your feet up on top, where you can sit your butt on or anything else. And 2 sets of wheels you got to have on, not just one. Otherwise, yeah. If I could go back, I would make 2 ladders that clip together, you know. But where I could take them both on the roof separately and then clip them in the middle there and make a clipping system where they clip together. But like, you know, I'm learning. Like I said, if you look up at that chimney, I mean, the lower I get, I go down another 20 feet from here. You ain't gonna see nothing. Anyway, I gave you some tips and tricks. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I have to say. This video is gonna be too long as it is, but I think the answer to everything is, if you got a chimney problem and you can remove it, get it removed. I imagine it would probably cost you $1,000 or something, $1,500. I don't know the prices, but they, just for my flashing and stuff, I heard, started hearing estimates at about $1,500, $2,000. That's not even removing the chimney. So that's why I even started this project, because I'm like, well, I can put a transmission in a car, I can fix a chimney. Well, this chimney's this chimney's over 100 years old, you guys. And I think I brought it back to life, though. If you look at it, I really look at that chemical, how hard it's getting already. I've got about, let's think about it, 6, 7 layers on there with 2 layers of fiberglass. It's all rubbered. I really think that chimney's gonna hold for, it could crack right away, or it could hold until I die. It could hold another, who knows, 20, 30, 40 years, who knows? Well, time will tell if this was worth my time. Anyway, I talked and talked and talked. I gave you tips on what 2 chemicals to mix there. It's on my thumbnail. You'll see the 2 products that, in the can. And then it shows my other products and stuff, and Newports and Monsters. You're gonna need those too. But you know, there's gonna be a lot of people that one day probably look at it and say, man, that's fucking whacked out. You should have done something else. But yeah, I could go back a week and say I should have done something else. We all can. But like I said, underneath all that is step flashing. And it was drilled and bolted right to the chimney. And it was leaking because it just had some crumbling and stuff. And it was either rip the whole chimney out or try to do this myself. And if I would have known, like I said, the project. It's easy to call myself stupid or have a professional roofer say, Jesus Christ, man, you made this way bigger job than it had to be. Well, yeah, no kidding. It's like telling somebody like you to go put your first transmission in a car, and then you find out all the time you could have saved if you didn't remove all the struts. And listen, you get so good at putting transmissions in a car, I can slip them in and out. I don't even have to remove half the suspension. I hardly have to disconnect anything to get the axles out. I can turn tires certain ways, pull axles out. I don't even have to remove them. But I mean, and slip a tranny in, or some people call them transaxles on front wheel drive. Transmissions are rear wheel drive, if you didn't know that. But because it transmits the power with the drive shaft, so that's what a transmission is. Front wheel drive cars are actually called transaxle because it just clips in with an axle. It's not actually a transmission. The power is transmitted straight to the wheel in the front. Anyway, that's so like I said, see how much I know about cars? Well, if I knew about roofs like I knew about cars, it wouldn't even been a problem, would it? You know? If somebody tells me, oh, I got to put a transmission in, I can flip a car up on some jack stands and I can kick a transmission under that son of a bitch, throw it on my chest, pop it in. I bet you I could get a transmission in 2 days. Easy. I'd say less, but I don't want to be called a bullshitter. Right on my back, I could pop in a whole tranny in a day, no problem. 2 days to take my time, drink coffee, fucking sit out there, bullshit with the neighbors, do a little bit of this and that, slip a transmission in, hook up a couple wire harnesses, whatever, done. But this ain't my cup of tea, but I'm learning, and I am proud of myself for what I got. If you were here and you see how nice and thick and tight the rubber was from where it started on my other video. All right, well, you guys, this is just an update for me, and don't expect any help from anybody because you're not gonna get it. That's another thing. Anyway, that's my update, and one day I hope somebody likes and subscribes. But until then, I'll talk to myself. All right, guys, bye.